Hi guys! So, I thought while we're all in lockdown, I would make an update of my bladder installation, painful bladder journey. So I've had loads of time to think, loads of time to think about life, think about my health, and I just looked. It was a crisp idea, it was a really bad idea. Had a look and one of my videos has got 400 views and one of them's got nearly 300. So obviously there is some interest there. And I just thought, I've neglected you massively. I haven't kept you updated. I haven't said anything about it. So I've made something, a little series of questions that I'm going to answer. Kind of going into less of the medical side and more about like the kind of emotional, psychological side. Nothing like too deep, but I just thought it was interesting. I might not even post this, but we will see. What is my chronic condition? I've just got the questions on my phone. So my chronic condition is called painful bladder syndrome. It's like interstitial cystitis' little cousin, little brother. So I've got some, it's not definite enough to be interstitial cystitis, but it's in that umbrella of painful bladder. And essentially it is a chronic, lifelong condition that affects urination and makes the bladder area painful all the time. How long have I had it? So I've had it for a couple of years, approximately 2 years, not exactly on the nose, but coming up to my second year of having it. How did I get diagnosed? So at first the doctors, as you do, I think my body was overcome, like possessed by Gollum then. At first, my doctors, my GP, just thought they were recurrent UTIs. But they thought it was unusual that I would be back maybe between 5 and 10 days, let's say, with the same exact symptoms. It kind of went up, I'd had the antibiotics, it'd go down a bit, and then it would shoot straight back up to how it was when I first went to the doctors. And it happened maybe about 20 times, maybe more, maybe slightly more, before they were like, we've tried every antibiotic, it's still coming back. You never go quite back to normal. So essentially, if you had a UTI, was treated with antibiotics and it went away, that would be successful treatment. If you have a UTI, have antibiotics and it goes away or doesn't go away at all, it's counted as like unsuccessful treatment. And I had so many unsuccessful treatments that were like, maybe there's something a little bit bizarre going on here. So I was referred to a specialist who saw me. We took a really detailed, meaning me and my mum, I sat down, went back, looked through our messages to see when she took me to the doctors or when I went to the doctors or when I said that I was unwell, to the date, and there was just pages and pages and reams of these UTIs that I was getting. So it just became apparent that they weren't UTIs, hence why the antibiotics didn't work. It was something not caused by bacteria, because my urine samples never grew a single thing. So it was something internal almost, which obviously is a bladder infection or a UTI that is not non-responsive to medicine. So long story short, 3 minutes of gabbling later, he diagnosed me with painful bladder syndrome. Did you receive treatment, or are you receiving treatment? Yes. So I'm on medicine. That's what I'm on. Let me see. I am on I am on 10 milligrams of amitriptyline and 30 milligrams of duloxetine every night religiously, and they have really helped, massively so. I now sleep through the night unless I'm unwell with a flare-up, but generally speaking I sleep through the night now, which before I was on the medicine I didn't sleep. You know when you like stir in the morning when you're just falling asleep, I just felt like that the whole night, because all I could think was, I need the toilet, I need a wee right now. And I was up and I was down, and then every time even back then, every time I did go for a wee, I didn't feel like that need to go to the toilet never stopped, so obviously that was quite disruptive. So I suffered with that, the kind of not being able to sleep through a night for nearly a year, so I was really, really fatigued. But these little babies, my drugs, I take them every day at night time, because I'm not sure if it's both of them or if it's just the duloxetine, but because it is a very, very, very low, what's the word? What is it? Very low. You use it for people that have got anxiety, but it's a very, very, very low one. Antidepressant, I think is what it's called. Very, 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 very low doses, obviously not used to treat depression. It has that drowsy effect, which just off I go, which is really, really, really good. And I also have my bladder washes. Let me just get that bag. I'm so unprepared for this video. You would have thought I would have got them out before. So, in my wardrobe, I've got my little bag of tricks. So, somewhere, right up here. Yes. It's got a sock in it, that's nice. So, here's my little bag of tricks. So, hi guys, welcome to What's in My Bag challenge. I've got a whole load of syringes, loads of catheters, and I'm out of breath. And my sister stat, which I believe is under a different name on some of them. Sister stat. It's all the same. Maybe not. Oh, there's my. What's this? Is this another urethra mirror? Yes, I found my urethra mirror. So yeah, I've got loads of catheters, loads of, I've got a lovely little clutch bag to put them all in. So yeah, this is my little bag of tricks. And so, to update you guys, basically, you've sanitised the area. I can do them at home now. Yes, no more tripping back and forth to the hospital every 2 weeks anymore. And I'm a bit more slapdash with it now that I should say this, but generally, because I'm very careful with what I eat, very careful with what I drink, very careful to take care of myself, apart from a couple of little mishaps, it generally has been much more calm. It's definitely not gone. If I do something silly and have a pear or have fruit, which I'll go into later, or I have something I'm not supposed to have, or I'm a bit tired or I'm a bit stressed, we know about it, sisters. But you get one of these, you sanitise the area, you catheterise, which maybe I might do not a tutorial on, but I might talk you through that later, because obviously doing it at home is a little bit strange. Catheter, syringe, medicine, whack it all in, hold it in, beautiful. But this is like my little bag of tricks, and I could not be without it. So yeah, that is my medicine and the treatment that I'm receiving, which I will receive and take, whatever, whichever we're talking about. I'll take the tablets and I'll receive the treatment probably for my whole life, or at least for the very, very, very foreseeable future. How did I feel when I was diagnosed? Interesting. I'll put a trigger warning in here just because I might delve into like, a bit of mental health stuff. It won't be anything bad, but I'd rather just pop that in there just in case. I don't want to, it's a viewer's discretion, isn't it? I was happy that I finally understood and could begin to research and look into and design my life around this condition and taking care of myself. But also, I have to be honest, the idea of living with the condition forever, essentially, at the age of, so I was 24 when I got diagnosed, 25 now. It was a little bit shit, guys, I'm not gonna lie, because on one side it was a very double-edged sword, because on one side I was like, oh my gosh, I know what's going on, I'm not now just going through life with this poorliness, with no one knowing what's going on, being able to tell me what's happening. But also, the more I read, the more I was like, this is actually going to be what I juggle my whole life long. Which, you know, did cause some low mood. It did, which I did receive counselling for, obviously. And I would recommend that for everybody, just because, what you carry, what weighs you down is not always yours to carry. Talk to friends or family or your doctor, whatever you feel is most appropriate for you at that time. But I did seek counselling because I did have this feeling of hopelessness. I was like, this is what my life's going to be like. But I moved through that. I got counselling, which did help, but also I found peace in my situation. I was like, I can either think, I'm going to be miserable, I'm never going to have a relationship, I'm never going to have children, because I did my research and it can affect, I'll speak about it in a bit, but it affects intimacy. And I was like, I might not, my dreams of having a family kind of flew away in front of my eyes. I was so fatigued, I was so unwell. I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a job. So, which obviously there's benefits for people that are poorly and can't work, but that was never something that I'd ever factored in for myself. So having to suddenly actually consider, my mum actually saying, when you graduate from uni, you might, and if you're still unwell, like as much as I was unwell, that you might have to look into benefits that you can get for being long-term poorly. I was like, goodness me, what has happened here, guys? This has all gone a little bit Pete Tong. But I found peace. I found peace. It took a while. It took a long while. It took one massive breakup, one mild breakdown, and a lot of support from my lovely family and friends, which I'm so blessed to have, to think, right, Yaz, make the best of it. You're not pessimistic by nature. Find peace, find your way forward, find your light that will lead you forward. And thankfully, it wasn't that I didn't wake up, my eyes didn't ping open one day and I felt miraculously better and I felt miraculously positive. No, quite the opposite. It took, me sitting down with my head of year at uni is like, I don't think I can continue this course because I'm struggling so much with my health. It took, me nearly having to leave my job because I was unable to go so much because I was in hospital, I was at the doctor's, or I was just bedbound. It took a while. It took a while for me to find peace, not only with my situation, but with that I was currently facing of being poorly, but also coming to terms with whatever future I'll have, it will be lovely because I'll make it lovely, So yeah, I felt happy and sad. I felt happy because I finally had answers, and sad because I had so many more questions. How does your condition impact your life? So I've put these into 4 main categories: diet, diet, sex, relationships and friendships, and work. Cough pocket. So diet. I can't drink alcohol. I can't drink fizzy drinks. I can't have any fruit with juice in it. So everything juicy, think again, babe. I can have bananas. The list is long. No strawberries, whatever. I'm not going to list all the fruits that I can't have, but generally anything with juice is not good for me. No alcohol, no fizzy drinks, no fruit, nothing spicy. So nothing with chilli, nothing with spice in it at all, and no tomatoes. Which you think is fine, it's doable, and it is doable, but I just love pizza. And beer gardens. Beer regardless. Like, I was never a massive drinker, but in that summer, when the summer is here, when the sun's out, you're with your mates in a beer garden, I just want a Kopparberg. I just want a strawberry and lime Kopparberg. Fortunately, no longer allowed it. That was like one of the first. They were like, if you drink, stop drinking right now. If you like tomatoes, stop eating tomatoes right now. So I found fruit, tomatoes, spice and alcohol. It's just a no-go zone. Sex. I find if I have candid, penetrative sex with boys, that will generally, one, be excruciatingly painful, will send my bladder into a spasm, so I feel like I'm mere seconds away from urinating, and it's very painful, and it generally leads to a flare-up between 3 to 5 working days later, which is just not ideal. Which you know, put a lot of strain on me as when I first got diagnosed and was first very poorly. I was in a long-term relationship. The kind of circumstances that led thereafter, me not being able to have sex, me unfortunately put just too much strain on the relationship for it to be feasible to stay together, which was unfortunate, and definitely a learning curve. And friendships, it affects friendships, because if I'm lots of people my age, lots of young people, drinking and partying and socialising is a massive part of how we spend time with one another, which is fine. I love a party, I love a drink, or I love to drink, I love being social, but obviously I can throw a sober shape on that D floor. I've got no qualms. But when it gets to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning and you're still out, you can't even have a fizzy drink to keep your sugars up. And I just feel a bit like a fool drinking a fruit shoot. Not that I would, I'm just joking, but drinking water, it's just doesn't have that same, because then you get the questions, oh, why aren't you drinking? And I'm not embarrassed of it. I will say it's medical, I can't. Then the amount of times people are like, oh, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm not embarrassed of it, I'm not ashamed of it. It's something that, although it impacts my life, now I'm much more at peace with that. I don't feel the need to be like, hi, I've got this thing. Not that I was before, but you know, it's not something that I carry around on my sleeve. I just feel like it's not the time, it's not the place, but at the same time I don't want to talk about it. Next question, I will not be answering at this time. Like, that's lame. You know, so it does impact that. And also when I'm having a flare-up, which admittedly used to be much more regular, touch wood, not as regular anymore, you know, there's only so many times you can say, sorry, I can't come, I'm poorly, to be still expect an invite. Luckily, my friends are brilliant, but you know what I mean? I don't want to be all that one that's always like, sorry, I don't want to come, I can't come, I'm poorly, or sorry, I don't want to come, I'm not feeling great. It kind of does end up being a little bit of a lagging feeling, I would say. But as I said, my friends are great. And finally, work. I kind of mentioned earlier the fact that if my condition remained so unstable that I would have to look into sick pay, which obviously is a legitimate thing. I literally have an illness that impacts my ability to work, because the things that I find set it off the most are being tired. Not even to the fact where you have, you know, a little bit of, oh, I could just have a nap and feel better. So you can't nap this off. Like, I know if I was to be on my feet for 8 hours, I would struggle to not have a flare-up very quickly. And stress, which obviously jobs are stressful, life is stressful, things are stressful. You know, I'm an anxious person by nature, so obviously the stress that I feel sometimes I find quite overwhelming. So I can't help but worry that it will impact my ability to work. I've just been given a brilliant, amazing job offer, but in the back of my head, that's slowly moving forward to the front of my head, as, you know, my beginning of that job looms closer, I can't help but think, bro, bloody hell, what if I get poorly and then can't do it? So like, you know, it does feel something that weighs me down, but I have to find peace. I have to keep being positive, you know, not in the sense that I lead myself into this false sense of security with it, because, you know, when strawberry and I'm back to square one, you know, one busy day and I'm like absolutely comatose, you know, it's a, you know, one of those balancing acts for sure that life will hand all of us at some point, but whatever happens, I will keep you guys updated, and you know, it'll be my first proper adult job since graduating uni, and maybe in the next video, because I'm due one of my washes, maybe I might bring you guys along for the ride. Obviously there'll be no Aretha Franklins out in the open, obviously, but maybe I'll talk you through the method behind the madness of me self-catheterising and shoving a syringe full of Sister Sat up me wee hole. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are staying well. I hope you guys are coping during this kind of, I mean, the word unprecedented quite literally sums it up. These wild, unexpected, you know, uncertain times, and I think I will be using the channel a little bit more just to have someone to talk to. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. See you soon.